In this video, we're going to learn how to convert between ratios and fractions. For example, Tom and Kelly share some money in the ratio 2 to 3. What fraction of the money does Tom receive? What fraction does Kelly receive? To work out the answer to this question, I need to work out how many parts are represented in the ratio. Well, Tom gets 2 parts and Kelly gets 3. So the total number of parts is just 2 plus 3, which is 5. So I can say Tom gets 2/5, 2 out of 5, and Kelly gets 3/5, 3 out of 5 parts. So that would be the answer to that question. To convert a set of fractions to a ratio, we need to write the fractions over a common denominator and then write a ratio of the numerators. You might need to remember that fractions of a whole add up to 1. For example, Evan and Fran share some money. Fran gets 2/3 of the money. Write down the ratio of how much Evan gets to how much Fran gets. Well, I have Evan and Fran. Fran gets 2/3 of the money. So if Fran gets 2/3 of the money, that means Evan needs to get 1/3, because if I have 2/3 of one whole, the remaining amount is 1/3 to get the full whole. So I can say the ratio is 1/3 to 2/3, but we can just write that. So if I wrote 1/3 to 2/3, remembering what we did on equivalent ratios, we could multiply both sides by 3 to cancel out the 3 on the bottom of each quantity to give you 1 to 2. So the ratio of money is 1 to 2. So what we can actually say is that for every pound Evan gets, Fran gets 2 pounds. She gets double the amount. In the next example, Alice, Bob and Charlie share some money. So I'll just write down A, B and C to represent Alice, Bob and Charlie. Alice gets 3/4 of the money. Bob gets 1/8, and then Charlie, we don't know what fraction he gets. Now I can write 3/4 as, again, remembering common denominator, I can multiply top and bottom of 3/4 by 2 to give me 6/8. So Alice gets 6 out of 8, Bob gets 1 out of 8. Well, how much is left? If I have 6 pieces and 1 piece, that's 7 pieces out of 8. So there must be 1 piece left for Charlie. So Charlie also gets 1 out of 8. This is in order so that Alice, Bob and Charlie all together get 1 whole of the total. So what I can say is that Bob gets 1/8 of the money. Charlie also has 1/8 of the money. And if I wanted to write the ratio of how much Alice gets to how much Bob gets to how much Charlie gets, it would just be 6 to 1 to 1. Here are some questions for you to try. Pause the video now, and when you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers. For the first question, you may have simplified the ratio, or you may have simplified the fractions to 1/5, 3/10, and 1/2, and 1/8, 3/8, and 1/2. But you haven't been asked to do that, so either way is fine.